I'm pretty sure you already know that our freedoms are disappearing by the day. And as preppers, we want to be ready for everything, all contingencies. So it's just a matter of time before these 7 things we use every day, mind you, are going to become illegal and disappear. And the last one is probably going to shock you. All right, so let's go through these 7 things. Number 1, biomass devices. Biomass is simply any type of like cook stove, whatever the case may be, that you want to use, like wood from outside or pine cones, etc., to be able to cook with. As far as prepping goes, that's actually a very common way to prepare food. But it's not even just that too. Obviously, your wood stove, or if you have a pellet stove, these things are quickly becoming on the endangered list, at least if the elites have their way. Not to mention, even if you have like a gas or propane range or stove, they want to switch everything to electric, which we already know that our electric grid can't handle that anyway. But either way, they're still trying to push their agenda and making it so, obviously, we cannot use these items. Number 2, I think you already know this too, and in some countries we already see it, firearms. They want to take away our guns. And it's amazing that in America, our founding fathers saw this. The guns and the Second Amendment was not about protecting yourself in your home, even though we use that. It was not about hunting, even though we use them for that too. It's about to stop a tyrannical government. And it amazes me. I mean, there's no amazement, obviously, but obviously the whole purpose of them trying to do away with the guns and take that away is because they want to push their tyrannical agenda. So firearms, definitely on a war with that as far as taking them away. We see some states are making it so they're actually making it more legal, carrying them everywhere, while other states are trying to snuff it out and make it so you can't use them. Number 3, other weapons. Of course, they're going to do away with firearms, which I still don't see that happen, but if they do, then other weapons will come into play, like pepper spray. Pepper spray has been proven to work in many circumstances. Not all of them. Have somebody really high up in drugs, it's not going to do a whole lot sometimes, but it's a good, safe alternative to carry with you. Safe for you, not them for them, obviously. Or a Kubaton, or stun guns. I'm going to link below a video afterwards that talk about some of these different small handheld weapons you can use, but you know that they're going to try to take these away as well. Now, some other ways to look at this too, maybe even more in the homesteading area. Livestock. I love for the fact that as preppers, instead of just buying canned food, etc., we can have self-sustainability, have livestock, chickens, etc., or maybe you have a cow or goats. And it's amazing that for some reason, out of the blue, these animals' farts are now causing bigger problems, so let's do away with these animals. If you haven't seen, all over Europe, there's been major protests and demonstrations because the governments are trying to make it so the farmers and the ranchers can't have these animals. We're seeing that here in America too. But here it's actually under the guise of actually other ways they're saying, you know what, animals are actually causing problems. Number 5, gardening. This one blows my mind because even though we look at, as far as what they call greenhouse gases, plants, including your garden, will turn CO2 into oxygen for you. You think they'd be all like, yeah, go for it. But instead, we're seeing a war on gardening as well. It's going to be to the point where you're going to have trouble even getting seeds. We even saw this back a few years ago. Governor Whitmer here in Michigan made it so during the pandemic, you couldn't buy seeds. Seeds, what does that have to do with anything? In fact, if anything, that's going to help if there's a pandemic going on, because that way you don't have to go to the grocery store, you'll plant your own stuff. That's because it has nothing to do with literally the pandemic. It had to do everything with they want to make it so we can't garden. Not to mention the government is trying to set it up right now. So if you have a garden in your house or a garden at your location or your property, you should register it and let them know. I'm not letting them know anything about my garden. Number 6, we've been seeing this in the news too, gas and propane-powered devices. For example, gas-powered cars, they're trying to do away with them. California's making it so you can't buy them after, I think it's like 2025 or something like that. Or even generators to be able to produce power. It's continuously pushing anything that produces any type of gases like that. Again, even your stove and everything too. You might want to consider possibly getting a solar generator. That's one way to do it. One of the big ones I look at is the Mango systems. I'll link it below. The Mango systems, we love them because they power my entire home. It's not simply just a device that, for example, I love my BLUETTI. It can power my freezer, but the Mangos can power my entire home because there's a war on this. And when we see a war on this, propane and gas, it's not simply just a matter of them making it illegal. The prices for gas is going to continue to rise and go through the roof because they want to make it so people don't use it. The number 7 is probably the biggest one a lot of people don't think about. We're going to have it illegal to travel. to go places. And it's not just talking about 15-minute cities. If you're familiar with those, the United Nations has been pushing this. They want to make it so instead of driving places, instead of going places, one 15-minute city will have everything you need. There's a movie theater, there's a school, there's a grocery store and everything. And you know what? Why would you ever want to leave your little confinement, a 15-minute city? Because it has everything you need. They want to make it so you can't travel. Granted, they want to make it so they can, flying in their jets everywhere, but they want to make it so you will be confined and limited to one area. And even more so, if you are not a good citizen and abide by the rules, then you can never travel outside that confinement area, 15-minute city, and therefore you are stuck there forever. It's not about trying to save the planet. It's not about trying to make it so it's a better life for humans. It has nothing to do with that. It's all about control. It's always been about control because that's what elites want: money, power, and control. All right, guys, all these things, unfortunately, are coming as far as being illegal. It is coming, and you need to be ready.